This is another special edition of Get Your Spirit in Shape. I'm Joe Iovino with United Methodist Communications and UMC.org. I'm at General Conference of the United Methodist Church in Portland, Oregon, seeking stories that will help us get and keep our spirits in shape. I was impressed to find that during the break and at lunch, bishops are making themselves available in the lobby of the convention center, offering to pray with anyone who might be in need of prayer. I've been chatting with some of the bishops at the end of the prayer time in the busy lobby of the Oregon Convention Center and asking them about this emphasis on prayer. The lobby's a pretty noisy place, so you'll have to listen carefully, but I thought you would enjoy hearing the bishops in their own words. Since this is my first general conference, I asked Bishop W. Earl Bledsoe of the Northwest Texas, New Mexico Episcopal area if this was something they had always done or if it was new for 2016. And with a smile, he shared this.
This is new. We're the spiritual leaders of the church, and so we thought we probably ought to put into practice what we preach about, and so the bishops are volunteering each day to just pray with.
Bishop Peggy Johnson of the Philadelphia Episcopal area shared how this role is part of their calling as bishops.
We just stand here as a pastoral presence and pray for folks as they have needs.
Bishop Larry Goodpastor, great name for United Methodist pastor, right? But Bishop Larry Goodpastor serves the Charlotte, North Carolina Episcopal area, and he shared a similar thought.
We wanted to have a spiritual presence, and our role as chief shepherds and pastors of the spiritual matters of the church, and just a sign that we're here to pray with people.
I think this prayer time might be catching some people by surprise. You see, much of what happens at General Conference is business. There are debates and budgets, votes, and things like that. Bishop Minerva Carcano of the Los Angeles Episcopal area acknowledges that, but wants to remind us that we're not just a legislative body, we're a legislative body of the church.
It's a legislative effort when we gather, but to remember who we are is distinct from the legislative work, and so it's remembering who we are, and we are people grounded in prayer.
Bishop Rafael Moreno Rivas of the Methodist Church in Puerto Rico also talked about the importance of prayer.
We think that without prayer, this doesn't function. We need to pray. We need to pray. That's the oil to oil the machine. We need to be praying all the time.
The bishops focused on prayer for this general conference reaches much farther than just the prayers during the breaks. Bishop Mary Taylor of the Holston Episcopal area, which encompasses eastern Tennessee, southwest Virginia, and northern Georgia, told me about another initiative by the bishops during General Conference.
And so there's a prayer vigil going on through the Council of Bishops. They've volunteered for different hours, and you can do it anywhere. It's not in some set place.
Bishop Carcano also shared about the bishop's prayer vigil.
It's infusing everything in with prayer. This is a piece of the prayer time. Bishops are also taking on an hour of prayer, so we're praying all throughout the General Conference. And of course, our conferences have been praying since January all the way through May. And so it's just another piece of the prayer. It's an enormous prayer movement. We feel the presence of the Spirit through it. We certainly do.
Since New Year's Eve, there has been a 24-hour prayer vigil for General Conference. That's 131 days of prayer. That number 131 is no coincidence. There are 131 annual conferences that make up the United Methodist Church, and so each annual conference took a day to pray. That's 24 hours of prayer each day for something like 4.5 months. That's astounding. But for some, that wasn't enough. Bishop Goodpastor explained.
In Western North Carolina, when we first announced this and we claimed our Sunday, the delegation and the cabinet said, one is not enough. And so every first Sunday from January till now, churches across our conference have been in prayer. And we wrote resources, we wrote materials, members of the delegation wrote prayer guides for churches. So it really took on a life of its own, which we felt as bishops was very important.
All of this prayer is important to our gathering as the United Methodist Church. Bishop Taylor summed it up well.
We just believe in prayer and want God to be at work in a mighty way among us.
And all God's people said, Amen. May we continue to be people of prayer, inviting God into every aspect of our lives every day. I'm Joe Iovino with United Methodist Communications and UMC.org, and this has been a special episode of Get Your Spirit in Shape from General Conference in Portland, Oregon. If you'd like to hear more episodes of Get Your Spirit in Shape, go to umc.org/podcasts or search for Get Your Spirit in Shape at iTunes or the Google Play Store. Thanks for listening. Peace.